Yeah, certainly. Lancashire Teaching Hospital is one of the three teaching hospitals for the northwest of the UK, and we cover up to Carlisle for a lot of the specialisms. It's a 250 to 300 million pound organisation. There's 7,000 employees. We have nearly 5,000 PCs on the network. We have a large scale network, industrial scale network, and there's about 75 people in IT. We are currently recruiting because it's quite a small department for the actual size of the organisation. We bought in or went into Astor, we were going to lead into that sort of thing, because of the difficulties we had organising ourselves to direct our efforts in IT to the priorities for the trust. In other words, matching up the business drivers that the trust had and the clinical drivers the trust had with our requirements and our ability to fund those developments, which is one of the reasons, obviously, that we started looking around early days for some software which would allow us to manage the resource inside the trust, inside the IT portion of the trust, more efficiently than we were doing before we went for Astor. IT itself, recognising it had a business pain and that it had to address that pain, felt trust, which is where we went. The CIO managed to persuade the CEO of the trust to invest the money in helping the IT department, and we've developed it from there. We went up to, for example, Lancashire University, I should say, just up the road to discuss their experiences, and it was an interesting time because it led us into buying and ensuring we bought the timesheet component. We realised that in early days that you needed both components, we felt, to make it much more successful. Well, we were lucky. The CIO, we have our own budget, of course, within IT. The CIO recognised the need as the senior IT person on the trust, and was able to have that board connection. And she was very, very keen that we delivered this. And I haven't found any of the management team, senior management team, with any hang-ups about delivering Astor. Now, obviously, it's going to be a time before it becomes completely bedded into the culture of IT. We can't suddenly switch IT department from fragmented timesheet recordings and spreadsheets and things into a fully integrated world, which we're trying to do in the space of a few months. And we've made significant progress in that area. But the management team, once we went through the training, when we looked at the product, quickly recognised this was going to help us coordinate our efforts. And as I have the largest department and the biggest component of IT, it was something important for me that I could talk to my training colleague next door or Nick Milband in software development. So we joined our efforts together, and we could see unified programs rather than disparate programs. And it was a visual way into that, as well as being able to plan the thing, which we've never been able to really do in the future. For Master, it was no more than a few months. Nick identified the product, I think, in late June. I and Nick looked at it early July, went to do the due diligence. I negotiated with your sales guys. We got all the contracts signed off within a week, and we had the software installed. It's only on a PC at the moment, running just in a temporary home, within a very short order, and we'd agreed quite an aggressive timescale for all the training courses. In fact, I think your guys wanted to do training for us at the end of August, beginning of September, and I brought it forward a month. We were that keen to get this in. Well, originally, because we are IT professionals, and this is a warning to every IT department out there, don't believe you can get it in by yourself. We've made that mistake with another piece of software we bought a year ago for the replacement service desk, and we still haven't implemented it because there's always something else. The fact that Astor insisted on going through a methodology and an approach that knew how to get it in, and that transmitted the experience that we certainly didn't have. And once we'd gone past our own arrogance and said, oh, we're IT, well, we know how to do this, then the professional service was excellent. The training we had up twice was patience personified. Again, I don't know what you're giving him down in Astor, but he certainly managed to keep his patience when people were blowing up machines and proving how they can disable software because they're IT professionals. But it was excellent. Chris was great, and it's been a real help to us all the way through this. I found Astor, I do deal with £500,000 procurements, £1 million procurements, and Astor have been great to deal with. They've not been a problem.